Hi, I just want to talk about color and those who claim to be colorblind or recommend that we have a colorblind society. I say this because there was yet another piece published in the New York Times today saying that Donald Trump is at least partially the fault of Democrats who are constantly bringing up race when they talk about policies like housing and education, etc. This argument has been around literally for decades, and it always stems from this idea that if politicians don't talk about race, then racist white people won't be triggered and they'll maybe be lured into voting for Democrats. There's just no evidence that that's true. First of all, let me just set aside the whole idea that anybody can be colorblind. That's not true scientifically, neurologically. Our species, Homo sapiens, one of the first two things we notice is race and gender, and it happens within 15 to 200 milliseconds upon seeing a particular face. We do that, and almost immediately the amygdala gets triggered. That's the part of the brain, the little almond-shaped halves at your brainstem that it deals with the world in terms of anxiety and fear. We're essentially using somebody's race and gender to decide if somebody's a threat. You don't know that it's happening. It happens too fast to trigger your conscious thought, and you can't stop it from happening. So you do see color, whether you claim that you don't or not. And frankly, most people of color, people who are not white, I think I can speak for at least my own people and say we want you to see our color. That's what color we are. And we're pretty proud of our culture and our traditions. So go ahead and see color. Just don't use it to discriminate against us. But let's talk about this politically, because the idea of victimhood has been long-standing among white voters in this country. And when I say long-standing, I mean we have evidence going back to 1776, right after the Declaration of Independence was signed and released. This idea that those who are actually oppressors are in fact the oppressed. This is how our people get away from criticism that they're oppressing other people, is they be like, no, I'm the victim here. It was used as justification for a lot of lynchings. It was used as justification for a lot of massacres in Atlanta, in Arkansas, in New Orleans, in Memphis, all over the place. This idea that the people who were attacking others were in fact the victims, and they were forced to attack because they were so threatened. That is a very ancient tradition in the United States, at least, and it is very common. We see examples of it in pretty much every election cycle since the very first one that we've had here. So to use as justification for removing race from political language, to say that the reason you want to do that is because the majority of white people now believe whites face discrimination in the U.S., that's not new. Whites have thought they face discrimination for quite some time. Any time that equality was suggested, there has been white backlash. That's not new. And also, not speaking about black and brown people doesn't change that. Even if Hakeem Jeffries doesn't say that raising the minimum wage will help black and brown people, I guarantee you someone on Fox is going to say it. Even if Elizabeth Warren doesn't say that reforming housing policy will help African Americans or help Asian Americans, I guarantee you Ted Cruz is going to. So it doesn't matter what the Democrats' messaging is. The vast majority of conservatives and Republicans don't listen to Democratic politicians. That's the world that we live in. But also, what's at fault here is not the messaging of Democrats. It absolutely can be improved. That's not my department. The problem is not their messaging. The problem is not that they're mentioning race. It's racism. The problem is not that they bring up what benefits or hurts one particular race and not another. That's not the problem. It's racism. That's what we have to deal with. And not mentioning it isn't going to make it go away. Have a great day. And as always, please be kind.